lesson 66. So we continue to bring things together that we already know how to do. Today's math is maybe grade 3. We had grade 1 on Monday, grade 2 on Tuesday, grade 3 on Wednesday. Still not hard. Okay, so what I want you to think about today is the relationship between decimals and percents, okay? So if I gave you the number 0.1 and I asked you to turn that into a fraction, you would say, well, I have 1 in the tenths column, so I have 1/10. And then if I asked you to turn that into a percent, what's important that you need to remember is that it's 1/10, but that also equals 10 hundredths. Remember? Like 10 to 100, I go times 10. 1 to a 10, I go times 10. So 1/10 is also 10 hundredths, which means that 1/10 is 10%. Okay? So remember that 1/10, even though it's decimal 1, it's actually decimal 10, which is 10%. Okay? So in the first one, they ask you to shade 50%, which each block, they have a string, and it's cut into a bunch of blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And they ask you to shade 50%. Well, if this is 10%, this is 20, this is 30, this is 40, this is 50. Right? And then you do that with the second one. So pause the video, go and do that. Okay, in the second one, they show you a bunch of dots. The important thing for you to realize is that there are 10 dots. Is there any difference between a line cut into 10 and 10 dots? What if I made my dots all in a row? Then it would kind of be like the same thing, right? There's no difference. This has 10 pieces, this has 10 pieces. So if they ask you to shade 80% of the dots, how many are you going to shade? Well, each one of these is worth 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40. You got to keep going until you get to 80. It's also going to ask you what percent are not shaded. Okay? Pause the video. Go do number 3. No, number 2. Pardon me. Number 3. Oh, no. Number 3 is the very same. You can do it all by yourself. Sorry, pause it again. Go and do that. Number 4. 10% of the marbles are blue. All right? So let's say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 marbles, and 10% are blue, right? 10% are blue. Well, this is 10%. What percent are not blue? You can count it up. Pause it and go do the question. Okay, number 5. Write the percent as a fraction and then as a decimal. You have been doing this all along. You totally got this. So 90%, right, is what out of 100? I don't know, 90? And then what is it as a decimal? Well, you've been doing this all year. I would take 0.9, I would take 0.90. They're both right, okay? I'll do one more for you. I'll do the last one, 100%. 100% is what out of 100? Well, it's 100 out of 100. And what does that equal as a percentage? No, as a decimal. It's 1.0 because I have all of it. I have the whole thing. If I had a pizza cut into 100 slices and I had 100 slices, I have the whole thing. So I have one pizza. Okay? Go do that. Come on back for number 6. Write the percent as a decimal. Well, 25% is decimal 25. 57%, no, now they, oh, sorry. This isn't even one of them, but 50%, 7% would be 0.57. The only thing that gets a little bit tricky with this that you need to remember is What's the difference between 5% and 50%? Okay? How do we, if we're going to write 50% and 5% as decimals, right? 0 decimal. How do you know the difference between 5% and 50? Well, in this case, we have, if we made this into a fraction, you would have 5 out of 100, right? Because I have 5, I only have 5%. So I only have 5 out of the 100. And if I made this into a decimal, I'd have 5 in the hundredths column. So that means I need a 0 in front so that the 5 can be in the hundredths column. In this case, it's 50 out of 100, which means that I have 50 hundredths. My 0's in the 50. Now, you could also go, well, 50 hundredths is 5 tenths, and only write it as 5 tenths. That's fine too. Both are equally right. Okay? So pause it, go do that question. Easy breezy. All right, write the decimal as a percent. So they got 0.2 equals 2 over 10 equals 20 over 100. Because remember, they went times 10 times 10. 20 over 100. Oh, sorry. Let's start that one again. 0.2 is 2 tenths. Yeah, I did it right. I did it wrong on the answer sheet. Ignore it on the answer sheet. Which is 20 over 100, which is 20%. Right? Because we got to get to over 100 for a percent. All right, and I'll do the last one for you. It's decimal 0.8. Decimal 0.8 means 8 over 100 because I have 8 in the hundredths column. So that means it's 8%. Okay? Pause the video, go answer number 7. Number 8, write the decimal as a percent by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. This is when, now that you'll know how to do this, when you want to figure out a percentage on a test, this is what you'll do. I don't actually do it, I do it like in my head. So, write the decimal as a percent by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So because we're out of 100, we have 2 zeros, right? So that means we're going to move the decimal place to the right to figure out what the percentage is. So if you've got 0.4, the decimal is going to go 1, 2, and it's going to end up here, and you got to stick a 0 in there. So decimal 4 is 40%. Remember, because 0.4 is 4 tenths, which is 40 hundredths, which is 40%. Okay? The easy way to do it is just go 1 jump, 2 jumps. Okay? Do another one with you. Let's try decimal 0.6. 0.06. 1. 2 places to the right goes there, which means it's 6%. Okay? If there's any zeros in front, you don't need to talk about those. They just disappear. Okay? All right, pause the video. Go answer number 8. We got 2 left. Approximately what percent does the decimal represent? So, for example, they've got 0.123, right? Now, we know that we have to move the decimal 2 places to find the percent, right? So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I end up with 12.34. But they only want whole numbers, no decimals, which means I'm rounding to the 1. So I go next door and I look. The 3, it's a bad arrow, it's pointing at the 4. The 3 says you stay the same. So 12.34 is 12%. Okay? And I will do one more with you. Let's do 0.3779. Okay, jump 2, 1, 2. Now I'm left with 37.79. So I want to round here, so I look next door at the 7. The 7 says round up, so this is 38%. Okay, pause the video, go do the last ones, and come back for one more question. All right, we're back to kids buying CDs again. I don't know what kind of kids buying a jazz CD, but we'll give Kay the benefit of the doubt. Kay bought 6 jazz CDs and 4 rock CDs. What should stick out to you is she bought 10 total. If she bought 10 total, each one of these CDs, remember, here's all her CDs, cut into a line, 10 of them. Holy crap, I did that perfect. Okay, so if these are her CDs and it says what percentage of them are jazz, well, that percent of them are jazz. And these ones are rock, right? And remember, each block is worth 10%. So, pretty easy, okay? All right, that's it, that's all. Having an easy week. Have a good day.